On the podcast today, we will be taking a look at 10 TED Talks that you should be watching. Coming up next. Thank you for joining us again today. Today we will be going over a CSOonline.com article by George Hulme, Hulme. The article entitled 10 Security TED Talks You Can't Miss is an excellent article. We will be going over each of the TED Talks individually, and located down below will be links to each of the different TED Talks that we are discussing here today. Let's go ahead and get started. The first TED Talk is by James Lyne, entitled Everyday Cybercrime and What You Can Do About It. James Lyne is a security researcher, and the video is a great introduction into what exists in the cybercrime environment. He goes over everything from what hackers are doing, including and up to how hackers today actually have great customer service. He also goes over some general crime statistics on the different hacks that occur on an everyday basis. Video is a good overall introduction to cybercrime. The next TED Talk, called Hackers, the Internet's Immune System by Keren Elazari, is a more of a theoretical look at hackers than anything else. She believes that yes, some hackers are bad. However, in general, hackers are actually by exposing vulnerabilities, they're pushing the internet to become stronger and healthier, overall making the internet a better place for all of us. Next on the list of videos is Mikko Hypponen, Fighting Viruses and Defending the Net. In an interesting bit of computer history, Mikko actually travels and finds the creators of the first virus. The first virus, called Brain A, is actually what gets traced in this TED Talk. It is an interesting part of computer history and worth a watch. Misha Glenny is an investigator, and he, in his TED Talk, gives a compelling argument on why we should not be arresting hackers. During his talk, he goes over several individuals that have all been arrested for hacking and how we are unfortunately letting their genius go to waste as they sit in prison. Misha believes that instead of putting many of these people in prison, we should actually be learning from them. This is another good, compelling TED Talk. Next up, we have All Your Devices Can Be Hacked by Avi Rubin. Avi's talk does not make it any easier to want to go to sleep at night. Mr. Rubin explains how hackers have not only been able to compromise cars and smartphones, but they've also gone on to infiltrate medical devices. His talk, given back in 2013, shows how dangerous the world has become as everything increasingly is being attached to the internet. Guy-Philippe Goldstein, in his TED Talk entitled How Cyberattacks Threaten Real-World Peace, discuss real-life incidences such as the Stuxnet worm. Mr. Goldstein discusses how these cyberattacks can bridge digital and physical worlds and prompt armed conflict. The next TED Talk, Governments Don't Understand Cyber Warfare, We Need Hackers by Rodrigo Bijou, is an interesting discussion on how governments are failing to understand hackers and how, in the future, war will actually be more online than it will be in the physical world. Rodrigo discusses how, in the future, wars will be between non-state groups, activists, and private corporations. He believes it is hackers that will be able to help us through these trying times. Lorrie Faith's TED Talk, What's Wrong With Your Password, is an excellent discussion of passwords. Lorrie and her team did some in-depth research on passwords, the quality of passwords, and password strength. Hopefully by the end of watching the TED Talk, you'll come away with the knowledge to make a better passwords for yourself. The next TED Talk, Ones and Zeros Behind Cyber Warfare by Chris Domas, is an excellent discussion of visualization. Chris talks about his research into pattern recognition and reverse engineering in trying to solve problems. Pattern recognition is still one of the things that humans can do better than computers. Chris in his talk make it very apparent on how pattern recognition through visualization can help detect different types of malicious code. We will end today with Marc Goodman, A Vision of Crimes in the Future. Marc discusses the technology used during the 2008 attacks in Mumbai. He takes a look at drones and 3D printing, as well as the Internet of Things, medical devices, and the future of biohacking. His discussion revolves around how our open technology today can be used for not only good, but also bad. As always, if you can, head over to EFF.org, the Electronic Frontier Foundation. If you can, please donate to their cause. It's a great cause that keeps the internet free. Thank you very much again for listening. If you found today's podcast interesting, please give us a thumbs up. If you think somebody out there that you know may be interested in our podcast as well, please feel free to share it. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel as well. And as always, thank you for listening. Have a good day.